Are you worried that a Wisconsin court judge might see you as an unfit parent? It doesn't just require a police report. It's true that one move can cause parents to lose custody of their children. I've seen it happen to parents who love their children deeply, but the courts lose trust. My name is Jeff Hughes. I'm the lead attorney at Sterling Lawyers, and in this video, we're asking the one question that could decide your case. Are you at risk of being seen as an unfit parent? What does unfit actually mean in Wisconsin? So let me clear something up right at the beginning. Unfit parent, that's not a label that's thrown around casually. It's a serious legal finding. In Wisconsin, the most common ground for terminating parental rights is abandonment. That's going more than 3 months without meaningful contact and without a good reason. And you can find that in our statute 48.415. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Courts and judges look at patterns of behavior, not isolated events, especially when deciding custody and placement. So what are the courts actually looking for? What are the big, huge red flags that the courts are probing around for? The first one, and probably the most obvious one, the one that comes to our mind so quickly, and that is substance abuse. So when it comes to substance abuse, it can go one of two ways. I have seen folks that have struggled with substance abuse, and as a result, they end up losing placement, they end up losing custody of their children, and in some cases, never ever get that back. And I've seen others, and I recall one time we had a client, and his name, not his true name, but his name was called Marcus. For the purpose of this video here, he struggled so deeply with alcohol. He ended up missing a bunch of exchanges because he was 3 sheets to the wind laying at the floor at home, apparently, completely drunk off his rocker, and he was starting to lose his children. He saw that. He understood what was at stake. He went in and got the treatment that he needed, and it took months to work through that to get to consistent sobriety, but he was able to do that. And as a result, he rehabilitated himself where he was able to get time again with his children, that ultimately, as he proved out his sobriety, he was able to restore that to full custody and full placement. So it can go either way. You can overcome. He went from unfit to a fit parent because he worked so hard at dealing with his substance abuse. The second one is having an untreated mental health issue. And the emphasis here is on untreated. It is not a disqualification to have a mental health issue. Mental health issues exist just like physical health issues exist. Having a diagnosis doesn't disqualify you, but ignoring it might. The court will ask, are you stable? Are you following your treatment plan? If your condition creates risk for your children and even for yourself, this impacts placement. This impacts your fitness as a parent. So don't look upon mental health issues as a death knell. Look upon them as an opportunity to show the court that, yes, I have a concern, but I'm addressing it and we're working through it. And for the good of my children, I'm doing everything that I can and need to do to be healthy. The third one is domestic violence. Wisconsin law requires courts to consider any history of abuse when deciding custody. Even one incident can shift dramatically the court's viewpoint. And a pattern, that's bad news. And a pattern of substance abuse, that almost always kills any parent's time, their placement time with their children. A fourth one, neglect or unsafe conditions. Neglect isn't about clutter or junk food. It's about failing to provide the basics: food, housing, medical care, education. And if the state's involved, if Child Protective Services gets involved, and if there is documented unsanitary conditions or repeated concerns, it all adds up. So what doesn't count as unfit? So let's pause on this, because a lot of clients get real concerned and they're accused of things that, frankly, they don't mean you're unfit as a parent. You just have a different approach in most cases to parenting. This is where I see so many good parents get a little panicky on being accused of something that's just simply not unfit parenting. That is this: arguing with your ex. No, that does not mean you're unfit as a parent. Letting your children stay up late on a weekend. No, not unfit. Working 2 jobs and missing bedtime once in a while. No, that is not unfit. Look, our judges here in Wisconsin, they don't expect perfection. They expect protection. And the law backs that right up. Decisions must reflect what's in the best interest of your children. If you operate under that paradigm where you are constantly focused on your children and making your decisions that are in their best interest above your own, that right there is the winning strategy. Now, if you're worried right now about this question of fit versus unfit, let me just try to alleviate some of your concerns. So if something in your life feels off right now, here's what you can do starting today. Document everything. Use a parenting app. Log your time. Keep a record of meals, pickups, school events, even text messaging. Number 2, get support if needed. That could be counseling. That could be recovery classes. That could be support groups. That could be parenting classes. All of this matters, not just for you, but for the court divorce record. Number 3, stay professional, even if, and maybe especially if your ex isn't. Keep it professional in all of your communications without falling into this emotional back and forth. That does not help your case when you get to court. Look, false accusations, they are going to happen. But remember, the court follows facts, not fear. I remember once I had a client and she was getting constant harassing text message. And she never responded emotionally. She saved everything. And it took a lot of mental energy and willpower to not want to fight back and defend herself, but she did not do that. And when the claims of abandonment came up, as they surely did from this guy, her record told a completely different story. And the court saw that and ruled ultimately in her favor. Remember, at the end of the day, the courts will keep coming back to one overarching principle. And if you focus on this, you will get the result that you need for your children. And that is this: what is in the child's best interest? And as you consider that question, think of it detached from you, from your emotions, from your needs. Think of it as if you're an outside observer looking in on the situation. Make your decisions that are in the best interest of your children, just in their world, not how it impacts your world. Look, if you're showing up, if you're staying steady, if you're putting your child first, the court will see that. But what if the other parent is always twisting the truth or trying to paint you as unstable or coming up with their own delusional narratives on the constant? That can get really tricky, and you need a real rock solid strategy. So in this next video, we will break down the 5 ways to beat a narcissist in Wisconsin for a custody case. Don't miss this video if this describes your situation.